My brother got my fiancée pregnant, and my parents funded their wedding. Years later, she mocked my wife. Healthy couples just get blessed. I walked out. The next day, she secretly showed up at my CEO office, begging me to take her back. I sat in my office on the 42nd floor, staring at the rain blurring the city skyline. My phone was buzzing with frantic texts from my mother, but I didn't care. The silence of my office was a sanctuary compared to the war zone of my family's dinner table 24 hours ago. 8 years ago, my life was a wreckage. I was supposed to marry Elena. We had the venue, the rings, and a future. Then I came home early and found her in bed with my brother Marcus. The betrayal wasn't just sexual, it was systemic. When Elena got pregnant a month later, my parents didn't disown Marcus. They bought them a house. They paid for a redemption wedding while I moved into a studio apartment with nothing but a mattress and a grudge. I went no contact. I worked 18-hour days. I built a fintech firm from a garage to a global powerhouse. And eventually I met Sarah, a woman who loved me for my soul, not my bank account. The dinner last night was supposed to be a peace offering. My parents begged me to bring Sarah to meet the new Elena and Marcus. I should have known better. The moment we sat down, Elena was insufferable. She flaunted her 3 children like trophies, constantly glancing at Sarah's midsection. Everyone knew Sarah and I had been struggling with IVF for 2 years. It was a wound that hadn't healed. You know, Elena said, swirling her wine and looking directly at Sarah, I think some people just try too hard. Everything feels so clinical with doctors and needles. Marcus and I, it just happens. I guess healthy couples just get blessed by God. Maybe some things aren't meant to be. The table went silent. My mother busied herself with the roast. My father looked at his plate. Marcus smirked. Sarah's eyes welled up. She looked like she'd been slapped. I didn't yell. I didn't throw a drink. I simply stood up, tucked Sarah's chair in, and looked at my mother. You chose them 8 years ago, I said, my voice terrifyingly calm. I thought time might have given you a conscience. I was wrong. We walked out. I blocked every single one of them before we reached the car. The next morning, my assistant buzzed my desk. Sir, there's a woman here without an appointment. She says she's family. And Elena? Send her in, I said. I wanted to see the look in her eyes when she saw the world I'd built without them. She walked in looking frantic. Gone was the smug housewife from the dinner party. She was wearing a cheap trench coat. Her hair was a mess. And she was clutching a designer bag that I knew Marcus couldn't afford. Liam, she breathed, looking around the mahogany-clad office. Oh my god, Liam, you've done so well. 5 minutes, Elena, I said, not looking up from my laptop. What do you want? She burst into tears. It was the same performative sobbing she used to manipulate me in college. Marcus is a disaster, she wailed. He's lost his 3rd job this year. He's gambling. Liam, my parents are broke because they've been subsidizing his lifestyle for years. We're losing the house. She walked toward my desk, reaching across to touch my hand. I pulled back like she was venomous. I made a mistake, she whispered. Every night for 8 years I've thought about you. I thought if I stayed with him, I'd have the family I wanted. But he's a loser. You're the man I was supposed to be with. Look at all this. We could be powerhouses together. I'll leave him. I'll leave him tonight. Just tell me you still want me. I actually laughed. It was a cold, sharp sound. You're here because of the blessings, right? I asked. You saw the car I drove away in. You saw the watch on my wrist. You didn't come here because you love me. You came here because the ship you stole from me is sinking, and you're trying to hop onto my yacht. Liam, please, for the sake of our history. Our history ended when you let my brother into our bed, I snapped. But here's the best part, Elena. You think you're so blessed? I know why Marcus lost his job. My firm bought his company's debt 6 months ago. I've been watching him fail from a front row seat. She froze. Her mouth hung open. And about that house my parents bought you? I leaned forward. The mortgage is held by a subsidiary of my holding company. You're 3 months behind. I was going to give them a grace period out of some lingering sense of pity. I picked up the desk phone. Security? Please escort this woman out and call my legal team. I want to start the foreclosure proceedings on the Willow Creek property immediately. You can't do this, she screamed as 2 guards entered. We're family. No, I said, finally looking her in the eye. You're just a bad investment, and I'm liquidating. As they dragged her out, she was egging, screaming that she loved me, that she'd do anything. I sat back and took a sip of my coffee. My phone buzzed. It was a text from Sarah, a photo of a positive pregnancy, a test from her morning appointment. We're finally blessed, Liam, the text read. I smiled. The revenge was sweet, but the life I'd built without them was the real victory. I deleted the last of my family's numbers and got back to work. I had a future to fund, and for the first time in 8 years, the air felt perfectly clear.